shall be set right.
Higher, further, faster, baby.
Friendly neighborhood Spider-Man here.
Welcome back, everybody, to day 2 of the Infinity Gauntlet Snap Arena Draft Invitational. I am your host here, Christo. I am joined by Raven. I am joined by KMBest, and we have our top 4. Each one of these individuals will be walking away with at least a couple bucks. Got $500 here as a prize pool on the line. Let's bring up the bracket and see how we got to where we are today. There you see OrdinaryHarry defeating Nicholena and Kawa, defeating Freddybabes, Speci going over Nina, and Lamby defeating Bynx. So we have our 2 semifinals. We're going to be starting with Speci versus Lamby in just a few moments. But KM, let's start with you. Any specific highlights, anything you're looking forward to based on these 2 matchups and our grand finals coming today?
I'm looking for some aggressive snapping. Both Speci and Lamby's games in the first round were defined by early snaps. I expect this one to be a quick one. I'm going to be honest with you. One way or the other, there's going to be some quick snapping in this one. That's what I'm looking for.
Raven, anything on your end?
Yeah, for me, I'm just interested, as always, with this format of the draft, right? What does the draft look like? So how many layers deep do the players go? Do they try and snipe cards that their opponent or they think their opponent will want? Do they try and go pairs of synergies to try and grab those? We've seen it from the previous matches that sometimes players are leaving like a pair of cards, but across 2 different pick options, which means they actually miss out on one of them as well. So that could hinder them a little bit as well. But for me, I just think these were the 4, I mean, they won obviously, but they felt like the 4 players that were just better at drafting overall. So I'm excited to what we're going to see now when I feel like the matchups are a little bit more even, at least when it comes to the draft.
Right on. Before we get into our first matchup, just a quick reminder about draft mode. So 48 random cards are selected that are in both players' pools, and they will then draft snake style until they complete their decks. We then jump into battle mode and have them compete until there is only one individual standing. So let's get right into the draft. Let's take a look at Speci versus Lamby and see who can get their spot in our grand finals today.
Let's have a look what we've got here. Oh, okay.
No Dr. Doom. That's the first thing I check every single time. Is there Dr. Doom?
I think it's fair to say no turn 6 powerhouses full stop, because I don't at a glance see high Evo, so there's no Hulk shenanigans. Well, arguably one of the best turn 6 drops in the game right now. But outside of that, nothing to write home about. But there is a Gamora, there is a Devil Dinosaur, there is Aero. So definitely interesting there. But what do you make of the rest of it here, Cam?
I mean, what do you make of the Lockjaw first pick here? We don't have Wasp in the pools. Shuri seems to be the answer from Lamby with a She-Hulk. And there's a Taskmaster here too. That's Leech to counter that play. This is already going so deep so fast.
This is going to be interesting here because Spec could potentially... Lamby could potentially start stealing some of the cheap cards. For example, I imagine Korg is something that Spec will want to bounce through Lockjaw, right? So Lamby could pick up the Korg too late now, so Nightcrawler Korg taken, but Lamby now taking the Rocket Raccoon to remove that. And it looks like Lamby's going up for sort of a build power early and then have the options of She-Hulk Taskmaster or Infinite with Shuri.
I'm honestly still stuck on those first 4 picks, which were just incredible, right? The She-Hulk comes out, so Speci picks the Leech. So Lamby commits to his She-Hulk line with Taskmaster, but also hedges against Leech with Infinite. And that's like the defining cards of the deck so far for me. The rest of it is support for that, but those 4 picks were just, there was so much interplay there, just a phenomenal thing going on. And a late Devil Dinosaur, which is probably not going to be that big here, but just a lot of power on Speci's end, a lot of Lockjaw hits, a lot of early cards, and the mid turns might be where he falls a little bit weak if he doesn't have that Lockjaw.
I have a lot of faith in Lamby, of course. I think he's one of the best players in Snap at the moment, but I do... Maybe it's personal bias kicking in here, but I feel like Lamby's deck is so much more janky than Specs, right? There's a lot of potential setups and pop-offs he can do, but is that too much? Is it over the top? Like, can Lamby afford to skip and then go like She-Hulk Taskmaster because Spec has Ghost and Shadow King. So there is a worry that there you go. There is a worry that that even if Lamby does a big setup, Spec will know it's coming, and he has Ghost Shadow King. So the Shuri sort of big Shuri into potentially She-Hulk Taskmaster won't quite pay off. So again, interested to see how this one plays out. But already, Spec getting very excitable on camera there as he takes the first cube.
Right, but like that's a snap based on having Lockjaw and Leech, and Lamby's sitting there thinking, what are the snaps that he would make here? And I think, given what his hand was, it definitely lost to Lockjaw and Leech. And yeah, I generally do think that I agree with your assessment of these decks, because the pressure that Leech puts on Lamby's game plan cannot be overstated.
Lamby does have Infinite though, so that is something to think about with the Leech. It's something, but again, it's really difficult because without playing a deck that sets this up, can you just win by playing a big dude? Right on turn 6, like, is that enough? I think that is way more difficult to do when you're drafting decks, because look at High Evo Lockdown, right? You win by playing Hulk because you lock down and win another location. Your deck is built to do that, so then Hulk wins the other one. That is not the case. So I think if anyone can do it, it's Lamby here with this list, but I know right now I would not like to play it.
These are just like the instant retreat from Speci is really remarkable here. I think it's a Grand Central snap, right? Like Lamby is just like, I am going to have something enormous come out of this Grand Central, and they are not.
This is the other style I think we all imagined of how battle mode was going to go before battle mode came out, was if you snap, your opponent looks at their hand. Is my hand good? Yes, they play. If it's not, no. And it's just as simple as that. And I feel like there's either that side of it or there's the more adventurous, risky side of it. I did air quotes there that you can't see because I'm not on camera. But I feel like we've seen two players of very similar mindsets. Both players that were snapping pretty aggressively in their previous matches. And there we go, snap. And look, my hand doesn't cut it. I'll get out for one. The good thing is the devs thought about this, KM, and they put in a option of on turn 5, the cubes double, so they can't keep getting away with this.
Like, if that hand doesn't cut it, like, if that hand where you have 1-drops and a 5 and a 6, like, is it literally only Lockjaw that cuts it? Would he have stayed if he had Lockjaw or Leech? I don't know.
It's like, tricky because if that's what you're planning on, then I don't think you can rely on drawing Lockjaw often enough if Lamby will retreat. You know, if Lamby's just going to say, if you snap a Lockjaw and my hand isn't insane, I'll just get out. But like I said, that is going to start running out of options. We're in round 4 now. Next round, these retreats are going to cost these players double. Oh my God. The best part about this is you can tell this is just how both players approach the game, because they're barely even reacting. Like, we're joking around because it's very silly to watch from our point of view, of course. It's such rapid fire responses. But the player's like, this is how you play, right? You snap if your hand's looking to be ahead, and if you're seemingly favored, you retreat if you've not got a good response. That's the game. It's just funny to see it in such quick succession.
That was all 4 of the doubled cubed rounds were exactly
in about 10 seconds total.
Yes. We are now at high stakes rounds.
Rocket gonna just start to be the first little bit of power on the board in the mystery location on the right. Xandar gonna reveal mid. Crimson Cosmos.
Lamby does not care about basically any location at this point. Like, there is not a location that can really mess him up at this point.
Yeah, Crimson Cosmos, the only real fear factor location so far, but because it's already out, Spec knows, for example, well, guess what? I can't play Lockjaw there already. If Lockjaw was going to reveal, or Crimson Cosmos was going to reveal on the right side when Lockjaw was already down, those are the worrying ones. But Spec just saying, I'm out. Yeah, not good enough.
This is the greatest match of Marvel Snap I've ever seen. And I think exactly 3 cards have been played over the course of 5 games. So,
I've got a question here for you, though.
Shoot.
Is this correct? And I know that's a very stupid question to ask. I'm a bit of a fan of stupid questions, but should the players in draft mode be trying to make what they've got work a bit more? Or do you think they're going fine and this is the way it is?
I don't know. I feel like what my question is not necessarily if the general play pattern is correct, but what specifically Specimen was looking for that would cause him to retreat, right? I think that's where my question is coming. My question is, what specifically was he looking for that he retreated those 4 games? What would have kept him in the game? And I worry that if the answer is just Lockjaw and or Leech, then it's like not a feasible strategy to take, because you're going to have to stay in these games at some point. You're going to have to win these games at some point. And if those are the only games you actually think you can win, then it is representative of saying like, okay, I think I lost the draft unless I do this, right? And I don't have a good read on why or what his thought process here is. I'd actually be fascinated if we could bring him into interview with at some point, but like, I don't know how possible that is, but like, I don't know if I agree with his evaluation of his own deck situation. And if that is your evaluation of your own deck situation, then you made a mistake in the draft somewhere.
Ghost? Invisible Woman, okay. I was kind of interested there because Spec chose to play Zero and did not play Negasonic. Obviously, Spec does have Silver Surfer as well, but I was looking at Negasonic on X-Mansion because it's unlikely Lamby matches that, and then you just say X-Mansion will give me a card that's at least around the same size as my opponent's, and then it's up to Lamby to play into it to try and win it at some point, and then you focus on one of the other 2 or both of the other locations. But instead, it's going for Zero Negasonic, and that is going to be swiftly punished and pushed aside by this Crossbones with Cloak mid.
Did we ever just win with like Ronin, Hulk, Gamora stuff here?
Yeah, I
like
think now
the way this is shaping up, it kind of looks like what's going to happen is Speci is going to have a 50-50 here and just has to pick a lane to put a big dude in.
Well, he's got to hope it's not the left one, because that is a given.
I mean, it's either or, right? Cyclops Maximus. I mean, Giganto is Giganto, but like Cyclops Maximus is a thing.
Oh,
that will do it. No, it's a tie. It's a tie, and then wherever Speci plays, can he win the tiebreaker? He'll go up 5 and then down 7. I think he's dead.
Right. The double 3s were huge actually there, right? Because it allowed Lamby so many options, because he also could have just gone, you know what, I'll go Cyclops in one, Maximus in the other, right? And just say, maybe go Maximus in Titan and Cyclops on District, and just
Tails of District X, Tails of Titan.
But it doesn't actually matter, right? like he's flipping a coin, and that's awesome, but
he doesn't beat right. Is the problem.
He ties, correct? He ties the right, and then we lose the tiebreaker by 7. You lose the tiebreaker 7-5.
Yep.
That's
just it. Wow. Both players quick back and forth early games there, but it ended in one swift blow there from Lamby.
That's Marvel Snap fundamentals right there. You're up on 2 lanes. You go in the 3rd lane. Very straightforward from Lambyseries there. Just like, yeah, we are up on 2 lanes and we are going to threaten the 3rd lane. That way, if he only plays one big guy, we can win 2 lanes.
I really do appreciate, having not seen a lot of drafts, seeing somebody like Lamby come in and go, all right, I'm going this whole Shuri, She-Hulk Taskmaster route. And Speci comes back and goes, yeah, okay, no problem. Leech will handle that. And then to be able to pivot from that and go, oh, but the Infinite solves that problem. I dare you to Leech me. Like, I love how quickly they're able to respond and put something together that says, oh, you're going to counter me? Well, I'm going to counter you back. And then I think that kind of left Speci with, and KM, you sort of highlighted that. He sort of felt like, well, the only way I win this game is by drawing Leech or by high rolling Lockjaw, which puts you in a bad spot for a series.
Yeah, I also want to commend Speci on how quickly he was able to find that coin. I know I could not find a coin in my residence in anywhere near that amount of time. Really, really, really commendable work from Specimen to make that gag work.
Yeah, I had to think about that, but I have a tiny little case with change on I used to put in after like nights out. You know, you get in with a pocket, this was years ago in my younger years, and I just always put it in, and I've honestly moved house, and that box of change has moved with me for no good reason whatsoever, because it is never going to be used.
Let's bring up the bracket and see where we are at. We've got one more semifinal for you here, as we do see Lamby moving on to the grand finals. We've got Kawa taking on OrdinaryHarry. As we get into this matchup, Harry unfortunately had some slight issues with getting the game recorded on his end, so we will see one perspective for the first little while. You will get to see Harry's deck list up instead, so our apologies for that. Unfortunately, you always have a little bit of technical snafus that can go on. Sure, it will nonetheless be a phenomenal matchup to determine who will get that second spot in our finals here today at the Snap Arena Draft Invitational.
Yeah, always a couple of issues when you got to jump through a good amount of hoops to be able to record this gameplay, but we are in the draft now. Checking it out here, just having a quick scan. Some big cards. Magneto KM is one of these scarier cards. Doom's in there. A cheeky living tribunal, which the fact that, yeah, I mean that's the brave play actually. Yeah, they didn't actually ban Harkness. Normally you ban it.
Oh, that's the second time we've seen that from Kawa. Your opponent picks Doom,
Leader
you immediately
as well.
grab the White Queen. It's yep. Whoa,
So huge,
Dracula, Apocalypse. We're going somewhere with this. I don't know where we're going if we're Harry. Kawa's just picking good cards.
Yeah, this is okay. Moon Knight, I like it. Oh, interesting.
The way Harry's been drafting has made me look around to see if there was a Hela in the pool that I was missing.
Well, I think what's interesting here is, yeah, Harry has to lower this curve very quickly, because if you end up with a hand with like a couple of big cards and like 2 small ones, then this Dracula is nowhere near reliable. Is going to pick up the Shang-Chi though, so has some options, but there's actually, Kawa can actually run a Shang-Chi-able card, which is very interesting. I think he was more taking it to not let Kawa have it, because as you can see on the other side, Apocalypse with a buff, Magneto can both be Shang-Chi. Now Chavez, of course, and oh Kawa.
Wait, is that... Did he like time out? If you time out,
oh, he did time out. He ran out of time and got Agatha. This is what I was saying. There's so little time. This happened to me. Luckily, I think when it happened to me in the tournament I played in, I got like Invisible Woman or something. You know, like fine, it's not the worst card. But Kawa literally gets Agatha. One thing I will say though, in a suboptimal sort of deck building challenge, let's say, dropping a 14 power card on turn 6 is not the worst. And now we've just seen Yondu just absolutely wreck Doom. So Kawa will know that is not available.
So the reason this is so funny, the timeout stuff is so funny. Wow! Accurately playing Medusa in the middle, Agatha Harkness going off. So if you time out in the draft, it will automatically give you 2 cards. And he automatically got given Agatha and is now snapping on Agatha plays.
It'll give you 1 card, but yeah. You pick them separately.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, the timer is separate. You have a timer for first choice, and then once you picked it, another timer starts for the second card.
So he timed out the Agatha.
Yes, he did, yeah.
Okay.
But like I said, honestly, yeah, it's not what Kyle would have wanted. I'm pretty sure that's true. But with the way his deck's built, it's like you play a 6-14 on turn 6 every game, more or less. It's not the worst. It really isn't the worst.
It's not the worst. He does have... The worst part is I felt like he was winning the draft right up until that happened. It was just like, oh man, Kyle was crushing this. Now we have to see if Agatha can get there.
The worst part is, because there's no wave, the leader does nothing, because it's almost certainly never going to be played. The Doom from the White Queen that he did pick would do nothing, because guess what? Agatha plays herself. So, look at those options. And it's just going to be Agatha. But like I said, 14 power KM. It's nothing to be ignored.
Yeah. It's nothing to be ignored, but we might have to... Okay, so... Okay.
Good placement.
Okay.
Good placement.
Okay. Yeah.
I've seen worse. I've seen worse when you control your cards. Never mind when Agatha's doing the work. We'll have to see what Harry's got in store for us because, like I said, we will not get his view, at least for now. But this is how I cast normally, so I'm kind of used to this. So get the excitement. Kawa back.
Sure. You know, sure, that's fine.
It is tricky.
Oh my god, this is unbelievable. I can't get over it, man. He did so well, and he did so well, and he timed out one time.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna send a message to Kawa laughing at him after we're done here today because it is just funny because I know how it feels. Maybe not to the extent to get Agatha, but I know how it feels to time out, and you just think if I just had 2 seconds more, you know, like literally just
wins,
an extra
though?
second. What if he wins? I'll still laugh. It's just the fact that the leader was such a clutch pickup, and it's just never gonna get played.
Oh man. We're getting debris into Crystal into Nick Fury here would be my guess. All right, Harry's snapping reasonable.
Here's a question, KM. Does Harry never play Moon Knight now?
So you don't risk discarding the Agatha?
Yes. I think that's a valid... Because if he Moon Knights and lets Kawa play, I think Kawa has the better deck, right? So I actually think Harry would avoid playing Moon Knight at pretty much every time.
Mindscape's gonna give Harry Agatha! Oh, this is the greatest. They're playing for money right now. Could you imagine being this?
but look, I'll tell you something. I know these two guys pretty well. They are entertainers first. They are memers before they are winners, okay? Harry is a winner of a tournament. Kawa has won a tournament recently as well, but they are... Oh, interesting.
Okay, those are terrible plays from Agatha. We love to see it.
Discard the Agatha.
It could.
Ooh. Oh! Play it out. I am so ready for this.
If this discards the Agatha here, I'm going to lose it.
If only it was on Sinister London, so it had 2 goes. Okay, Titania on the far right for Harry.
Nope, no Agatha, just Blue Marble.
Got rid of the Dracula,
That's not
though.
great.
The Dracula's a good clear, though, right? Because Dracula with Sinister London is actually very, very powerful. Absorbing Man now going to be played to Moon Knight again. At this point, I don't even know if Kawa wants the Agatha gone or not, because Agatha on Sinister London... Oh, I guess it won't matter because the Mindscape.
Oh my god! I was about to say that Shang-Chi is an Agatha off of the Daily Bugle, but now he discarded the Agatha that Harry got off of the Daily Bugle. 2 visions. Harry's about to get another Agatha, but with double visions here. Agatha making the clutch Sinister London play. I think Kawa can win this.
It all depends on where the Agatha plays itself for Harry, right?
Oh, he's
Harry's gonna load up.
London, so Agatha can't go there now. I'm thinking this might be a win here, depending on what he has. But Harry got rid of everything good.
Yeah. Let me think. Is this?
You just do it, right? You move.
This is the problem. What do you do? Because Vision mid, like if Agatha goes mid, right? Then 5, that would win, right? If you play Medusa. So do you then...
I would think you just play both on the Sinister London and say, I'm going to win Sinister London, and then one of the other lanes where Agatha plays herself.
Well, what if you don't win? It's only adding 4 power to Sinister.
If you don't win Sinister London, you weren't beating Agatha anyway, right? So you just do this play, and you're like, look, I'm going to win this lane, and if I don't win this lane, I lose the game. It is what it is.
I'm trying to think what Harry has, right? It could be like Cloak, Colossus, Nightcrawler or something.
Medusa going there, Agatha winning that. Right, so do we win Sinister London? That's it.
Cloak, that's a lot of power. Moon Knight, okay. It's not Dracula.
It's not Dracula.
Colossus.
It's Colossus.
Oh!
And there was absolute oh my god, 8 cubes on that.
I see now. So this shot is from next round, right? Because Harry's just lost 7.
Harry
so
just
Harry's
lost
now
7.
on 3.
Yep.
There we go.
There he
Welcome
is.
back, Harry. That makes a lot of sense now.
We're here. We're here. That was an absolute clown show. I'm laughing lower than my mic can pick up. So whenever I'm not talking, I need you to imagine me, dear listener, just sort of like chuckling under my breath every time anything happens. That's basically what's going on right now.
Yeah, now we can see Harry's hand. We can really see even though he just lost 7 cubes, of course, or 7 health, we can see the quality difference of the hand when you look at the fact that Agatha exists in Kawa's hand. But now, geez,
like every card but Agatha in his deck is so much better than the opposing option. Ooh. But like this is a really good experiment because like I think Kawa basically crushed the draft. He has a much better deck. But because there is an Agatha in it, it is no longer a much better deck.
Is Harry?
And now he's suddenly in a spot. Oh, Harry Shang-Chi. Yeah.
Shang-Chi Dark Dimension is so good.
It's going to hit that White Queen that Kawa put in there too. It turns out being able to correctly plan where you put your stuff, that tends to be an important thing
pretty
in
good.
Marvel Snap.
Yeah, I heard that's a pretty good skill to have.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Hang on a minute.
Agatha.
Okay, dude. Yeah.
I think she just automatically moves any card she can move, but that ended up being roughly correct there. I mean, it's probably not going to win thanks to the Shang, but it's possible there's enough power that we get there.
It's funny that like the world where it isn't Doom, it's actually a game, right?
Because that would have been a really big deal if that is not Dr. Doom in Harry's hand right now.
Saying that.
Is he going to be tempted into the 616 Magneto?
I don't think so. And I think the reason is Dark Dimension's already full. I think if Dark Dimension wasn't full, you could be tempted at getting like a late Magneto pull. But I don't think it will overly matter. We are going to see the debris come out now. Mid's looking strong, but there's Titania. But unfortunately for Kawa, the Shang-Chi, he's going to get some work done, and then the Doom is going to tidy up elsewhere.
Wait. Okay, I was just making sure.
Yeah, this is fine.
Sure. I was like, okay, wait, hold on.
This isn't Harry's first rodeo, don't worry.
Okay, we're good.
Yeah, even the Dracula winning left with a big 16 pull as well. Looking pretty good as Harry starts to fight back. But Kawa does, in a roundabout way, have an extra life than Harry, if the players are going to snap to 3, because Kawa is on 4 right now and Harry still sticking around on that 3 health.
It's just an extremely funny gag that Kawa is named Snap GPT, or that Harry is named Snap GPT, but Kawa is the one being controlled by a robot here. All right, if we're being honest, you have to leave here.
Although let's be honest, Kawa roped his card pick and got Agatha, so which makes Dingus a pretty reasonable name as well when you think about it. So I think actually it's not too bad.
You have to leave here if you're Kawa, because not only does Harry have the ability to actually put cards into Gamma Lab where you are coin flipping that, Harry has Shang-Chi. You have to leave. Oh man.
But what does leaving changes nothing?
I don't even know if it does do anything, right? It goes
nothing.
from 2 to 3. It doesn't change anything into the later rounds.
No, it goes from 4 to 2, so it's still pretty much.
You're still playing for 2s every time.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Kawa just plays it out anyway. The retreat.
I mean, we are never winning this game, though. Like we are under no circumstances winning this game.
What a non-Agatha believer. Huh. I mean, I agree.
It's going to be extremely funny if he does win this game. I'll be honest with you.
It's kind of tricky as well because Dream Dimension definitely doesn't help Kawa either, right? Because that's no Blue Marvel, no Nick Fury, for just some power, right? Like something. And with these the other 2 locations being straightforward, then there's no shenanigans, I don't think.
Yeah, Harry's dedicated investment in the Hulk lane means that if he does draw Shang-Chi, he can now use it in the Monster Island. Which
I'm being really stupid here, KM. Does this Absorbing Man work?
What? No.
No, okay, it doesn't because it turned into Hulk. Okay. No, just because it was debris, right? That would have been pretty interesting, actually.
Yeah, no.
'Cause it went debris
They
again.
actually become the Hulk.
Yeah. I thought that was the case, but you know when you just question yourself, when you're like, I've seen this happen a million times. I used to play a lot of Absorbing Man, but because I've not played it for a while, I was like, wait a minute.
One note here about Cloak
over,
is Agatha always will move. If you play Cloak late enough, Agatha always will move to fill it up, as far as I understand. Like, she always takes available moves when they're there, right? And so I think there was no way she ever didn't make that Dream Dimension play when you play it late enough in the game.
Yeah.
Oh, well done, Agatha.
And Harry's just chilling, saying, yeah, Doom mid is, I think, a guaranteed win.
It's actually...
It's not. If Agatha goes mid.
If Agatha went mid...
That is actually hilarious. But...
there's no way for Harry to actually guarantee a win here. If Agatha went mid, there's like... oh, wait, no. Yeah, there is, right? Like...
14.
No, if Agatha went mid, there's actually no way for him to guarantee a win here.
That's actually hilarious. Well, the frustration...
I think he's figuring it out right now.
You know what the frustration here, though, is for Kawa? There's no reason that Harry doesn't go for it, because he has to.
Yeah.
Whereas if Harry had more cubes, or more health, sorry, then Harry would potentially retreat if he was worried about the 50-50. But he can't retreat, so he always goes for it. And in this instance, he wins it.
Kawa actually just loses the 50-50 here, and that's it.
And Kawa knows as well, right? Because there's... was there like... oh yeah, Magneto wouldn't have even won. Because it would pull White Queen and Absorbing Man. Yeah.
There was no win.
Oh my god, there was literally no way.
No, Magneto would have won. You would have just put Magneto on the other lane. The one where he was down 10.
No, right?
Yeah.
Was he? Oh, sorry. Yeah, put it on the right. Yeah, you're right, because it was full, right? It was full.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, you are right. So Magneto would have won. Apologies. Gamma Lab again.
Wakandan Embassy again. Gamma Lab is the bane of Agatha. We do get a Jeff in there. There's at least that. But unfortunately, the Shang is... oh, God, you're right. It is going to move.
Yeah. Maybe that's a good thing, because Harry had Shang-Chi anyway. Yeah, there you go. Oh, and the debris didn't even play in the other locations, right? To at least, I know it would be a double Hulk either side, so it would make a difference. But it's just like, yeah, play debris to get a Hulk, but you just know Harry's gonna just charge up the Hulks because he knows that there's no Shang-Chi on Kawa's side.
Oh, the safe Titania there too to get an extra Hulk is very
just bank
clever.
more power, right?
That's not a bad play. You gotta give it to Agatha for that White Queen. That's fine.
The problem is, I think Kawa would have preferred White Queen left, right?
I don't think he's ever winning the left lane in a million years, knowing that Harry has a Shang-Chi.
But I feel
it's just not happening.
It's just tricky because Agatha can't play in the right. So that right lane, if Harry can sneeze on it, that right lane is one for Harry, right? That's the scary bit.
We're actually, the thing about it is though, is that we have the Shang now into the Doctor Doom, and Harry should be able to clean this one up.
Who they dig up this time?
There's the Shang-Chi. Nick Fury going to do his best to contest, but I do not think, if my maths is correct, this is enough. Yeah.
Yep, the honorable resignation from Kawagatha over here. They both deserve credit, dual credits here. That is just a phenomenal representation of why you have to think so fast in this draft mode, because if you don't, that can happen to you. You can do everything right, and you do one thing wrong, you take 2 seconds too long, suddenly your great deck is being piloted by Agatha Harkness.
Could that have gone any worse for Kawa as well? Like, okay, look, you time out, it happens. Oh, I got Agatha. Okay, the last 2 rounds to determine the series. Oh, hey, look, Gamma Lab twice, and my opponent has Shang-Chi. Like, could it have gone any worse from a luck perspective on top of it all? Insult to injury.
He was in a position where Agatha 50-50 could have actually won him the entire series. That's not normal.
It was really tough though, because of all the cards that could have been randomly picked from the obviously the missing the card choice in the draft. It was the one card you would love to not have picked, and there was still a lot left on the board. I do think though, just to, shout out for Kawa, I think you could tell, I was talking Kawa up a lot earlier, how good he is at drafting in general, because the rest of the deck, as we saw, I think Harry would have been in massive trouble, actually.
I think Kawa
with the draft.
crushed that draft.
If Kawa just didn't have Agatha and had any other card, I think Kawa would have done extremely well and would have likely been facing Lamby in the finals. But yeah, I mean, that's what happens. And I said right at the beginning of this whole thing that the draft is savage. It's so difficult to make those choices and make those choices fast enough. And the game will punish you for it if you mess up. So yeah, unfortunate there for Kawa, but it does mean Harry moves on.
And props to Kawa for being a great sport that whole time. You could see him smiling, having a good time. A couple bucks on the line though, but still nonetheless, always had a smile on his face. So I do appreciate that. Let's bring up the bracket now before we get into our grand finals. While you're looking at that, let's advertise the next event we're going to do. It's going to be a draft where every player picks 11 cards and Agatha is forcefully inserted as the 12th card in their deck. No promises, but just putting it out there for 983 Media in case they're looking for some content. But there you see Ordinary Harry versus Lamby going head to head for the title of the Snap Arena Draft Invitational Champion here. We got one left for you. So, Lamby's been talked up a lot here. Are we thinking that that's still, maybe a little bit of the favorite going into this last draft?
I think these are two very, very talented players. And while I do think I would favor Lamby based on his experience with the format and all of that, I think this is one that truly could go either way. Harry has shown an absolute willingness to play his decks to the utmost. He has done some very good drafting and some a little bit less great drafting in the previous round, but like his first draft was phenomenal. And I think even, I would say, I think Lamby's first draft was better than his second draft, because once you get into these games against the players who really know what they're doing, there's a lot of interplay there. And I think whoever manages the draft better, whoever manages that interplay better, will be the one who comes out of this.
Again, I sort of echo what Kam's saying, where I think Lamby is just one of the best players in the game right now, but Harry has the ability to just win, right? Obviously, it helps if your opponent has Agatha, but Harry's proven this in the first Creator Clash. He's going to be going to the next one as well, so he's got a chance to go back to back on that one. And I think like Harry's just got that. It may not seem like it when he's streaming, but he has the competitive mindset to just say, this is what you do, so I'm going to do it. And I'm not even saying in terms of win, but turn by turn decision points. I remember when we first started playing battle mode, and we played some together, we played some against each other as well. And he was like, oh yeah, you should have just snapped there because it's just correct. Very just matter of fact. It's not like, oh, I'm going to mess around a bit or, do some streamer stuff, have fun, whatever. It's just like, no, this is the correct play. Go. And he's been playing some other competitive games recently as well and performing very well in tournaments for those too. So I think Harry might look like the underdog in a competitive sense, but I think he's one who can definitely take this.
Let's find out who is going to take this one home then and dive into the draft for our finals here at the Infinity Gauntlet Snap Arena Draft Invitational.
Here we go. Oof, we've got Doom again. It's becoming a bit of a theme. So who's picking first? I think it's I'm not sure actually, but I think they are going to pick Doom regardless. There you go. It's
yeah,
Lamby. Okay,
Lamby
cool.
with
the makes
Doom.
Sense. Now, already
leader as the Doom counter. Sunspot, great card. Nebula and Captain Marvel. Lamby's starting off strong here.
Yeah, I'm just sat quietly staring at the 3 drops because there's Surfer, Ironheart, America, Debris, Nakia, Sif even. Like, that's not the worst package to sort of fill out your deck once you've got those high priority cards. Harry's just disgusted me by picking both two of my most hated cards in Snap ever, Leader and
what's
Galactus.
the pitch for Galactus in this deck for Harry? What's the Wolverine? Do we have any way to get Galactus out early, or
Nimrod, just turn 6.
Oh, we're just doing turn 6 Galactus. Okay.
And Harry does have experience playing that style of Galactus as well. Normally Harry plays Galactus, but not normally the standard builds, I would say. A lot of it's like Nimrod stuff, negative stuff, things like that. So I would be worried to play against Harry playing a weird Galactus list, because that's kind of what he plays just for fun.
The interesting thing here is it's kind of a counter to the Doom Captain Marvel spread your power around thing. And there's actually not a lot of good answers to turn 6 Galactus in this deck other than be big enough to beat it.
And also pretty nice here. You know what I like about this draft from Harry? He picked up Green Goblin super early before Galactus was even a thought. Yeah, and Debris. And was like, you know what? I'll just sneak these two, which will make my opponent not pick Galactus, and then guess what? I will pick it
genuinely
instead.
Fascinating. Like right here, we have Wolverine Nimrod. If we draw Galactus, can we ever lose?
There is an Abomination available for Lamby, so there's ways to get it done, but Lamby might have to rely on a big win or bullying Harry enough times when Harry doesn't have the good Galactus plays. You know what I mean? Like, say, I will lose to Galactus, but if Harry doesn't draw the good Galactus setup a couple of times, I'll grab a multiple cubes. So I think the trick against this style of deck that Harry's built, Lamby wants to snap early. Good hand, snap, and then make Harry retreat and say, you might not have drawn Galactus yet, so he might be worried, get him out the game.
Yeah, and with locations like this that restrict your ability to actually do turn 6 Galactus, like we can never turn 6 Galactus the Space Throne. That's just not a thing we can do. Right. We can try to magic it and get out of it that way, but once you start seeing these restrictive locations, Daredevil in the middle, because we can move it to New York. Okay, I get it.
Yeah, and if New York doesn't exist, it's because Galactus has happened, so it won't matter whether it's moved or not, I guess. It would, what would have been so funny?
Iceman hitting both Magic and Nimrod here is huge.
Yeah, the Kamatage is a pretty big deal.
That is. I mean, that just makes Galactus terrible if we can't get the Nimrod off.
And here's the question, right? When you think about what was available for Harry, yes, we're sat staring at Nimrod, but there you go. I was going to say, is this Iceman just a snap?
We're both in it.
I like it because it double Iceman, and you look at Harry's list and look at the things it can hit. Yeah. That's got high hit rate, actually. It's a really high hit rate.
Iceman is a card that's good against Galactus normally because you want to be hitting things like Electro, and it's just immense here.
Or even Dr. Octopus Nightcrawler sort of stuff, right? Like anything to just push those combo pieces away. Crossbones.
We're looking at Captain Marvel, Doctor Doom, and I don't even know if that ends up losing any of our lanes. Like we can't really get Galactus here, can we? This is what you were talking about. He snapped early, and the locations are such that the God, this is it, right? Like we lock up 2 locations. Harry's about to.
Harry's gonna win, right?
Well, actually, is he? Because can't we?
Well,
he is winning. Yeah, no, this wins, right?
Because Harry moves Nightcrawler, right?
Yes. Well, no, Harry doesn't get to move Nightcrawler. He's not moving Nightcrawler here. We'd see if he was moving Nightcrawler. Oh, no, sorry. The middle is still going to be tied.
Yeah, but he can move Nightcrawler right and just play something, right? Yeah.
Can Lamby win off Abomination is the question, right? Like Lamby plays Abomination. Debris fills up this location. Nebula gets +2.
Ooh, so Harry needs to draw something playable that is cheap. Oh, and it was Galactus.
He needs, if he soaks here.
Gonna go for the draw. He has to.
Going for the tie.
Yeah, he has to because he didn't draw anything cheap enough. He needed to soak 3 energy and play anything that is more than 2 power mid, and he drew Galactus.
Does he even have cards in his deck that would fit that? Like, this is great because it's all upside for Harry. He's not gonna lose, and Lamby might retreat and give him 4 cubes.
I play Captain Marvel, Squirrel Girl, pushing 7, 17. Hulk would be only 15. Lamby's like,
he's got the situation down, right? Like, it's not like he always loses. Yeah, the Abomination play, he did the math last turn. He knew this was a possibility.
that is so funny. Yeah, the smile and the nod is like, all right, okay, if that's how we're going to play, that's how we're going to play. And that is going to be a draw. No Jeff available for any true shenanigans here. What a way to start the final here. Both players pushing to 8 cubes, playing it out. But obviously the idea that, well, Harry knows for a fact that this, he can force a tie at worst, means that this one's going to be played out and we go back to the drawing board, but not strictly though, right? Because we are still going to go into round 2, which means it's one step closer to round 5 and doubling those cubes. So time had still happened in this game of battle mode. It's just the health hasn't moved.
That is really interesting. Nimrod again. We are just getting nothing out of this guy. Now, we do have the magic to be able to go Magic Nimrod Galactus if we'd like.
Oh. No.
Okay, we're doing it back. Let's go.
I told you. They both just don't care, and I mean that in a positive way. Harry's just, I know from the first time I played Harry in battle mode, if he thinks he's got a good hand, he'll just snap. That's just, and the board's playing nice, of course.
Does he have a good hand?
I think, honestly, with the turn 6 options Lamby has, you've always got to just think about leader and just say, is leader just going to be enough?
I think what Harry's looking for is, you go Goblin, you go Magic, Nimrod, Galactus. I think that's sort of what he's trying to get. And I think he's just like, well, if I have those cards, I'm pretty sure I can get there, right?
Oh, that's a little bit annoying now. Oh, no. It's still okay. Actually, yeah, it's still okay. Because placement of Nimrod and of Galactus is actually important because of the order of the locations exploding in.
They're kind of restricted for us here. I think what we're looking for is the Nimrod lane being the middle lane and our Galactus lane being the left lane. But if that's what we were doing, then we probably wouldn't want to Green Goblin the middle lane instead, right? Like if we are looking pretty heavily.
Right. I thought it was.
We want the maximum Nimrods. We want to be Galactus in the left and Nimrod in the middle.
Let me think. Isn't it fine if you Nimrod left and Galactus middle? Isn't that the same? Or am I just not?
That is fine. I think.
Yeah, I think that's what because the left always goes first, so it'll always spawn one in big house. Right, so then the big house will die.
Spawn one in big house, and the big house will die.
Yeah. So I think as long as you're getting 1 kill before, like it's fine. Regardless,
so what's the number on that? We're looking at how many Nimrods are we looking at? We're looking at a total of only 12 power here without the Wolverine. So if Lamby can get above 12, and he's going to play that Abomination, right? Like he's going to get above 12 in that lane.
But yeah, true. But is he going to play it if Magic's available? Because he's got to play. Yeah, okay. Oh wow, this is actually really weird.
So what Harry's setting up for is Nimrod into Galactus, but that seems pretty clearly what he's doing, and I think Lamby knows it and knows that he has to go bigger than 12.
And he's already behind, so leader doesn't quite feel as cool right now.
The leader is the awkward bit, right? I'm legitimately tempted to play that Crossbones into the middle, but I mean, we can always just do that next turn, yeah?
I mean, I was even... this is where we're all on different wavelengths here. I was looking at, for Harry, is this like a weird debris to get the rock mid and then try and beat the 8?
All right,
it's a super weird game.
Let's go!
I mean, Harry may as well, right? I think this is a good Kang, right? Because you have a bit more of a good idea of what the outcome is, mainly for if that Galactus wins or not, right? I think
there's no way you can expect it to win. it loses even to Dr. Doom.
But I think what Lamby's got to worry about is what happens. Like, is Lamby always playing Doom mid?
I cannot figure out how Galactus and 2 Nimrods beats 13 power.
It's actually so awkward that Harry doesn't have another way to destroy, isn't it? Because then you can start asking all sorts of questions, like what does move Nightcrawler to big house, destroy Nimrod, play something that, you know what I mean? Like that is a lot of great questions to be able to ask your opponent. But I think because, unless I'm forgetting about a card, because it's only Galactus that can kill Nimrod, I think Lamby's job is much easier in this match.
Yeah, and because of this, he gets to just make this play, right? He now with the crossbones. It's like even if there's something you forgot about, Galactus is not beating you.
And I think my point here, or my question for you, KM, is should Harry have even done this plan? Like, was the Nimrod plan correct when he had access to Spider-Woman leader at that point? And was, maybe you pivot? Obviously, very easy for us to say now at the end of the game.
Yeah.
I feel like my Twitch chat when they point out how I should have played after the game's over. But it is the options Harry had were good, right? It's not like I've only got Nimrod and hopefully Galactus. There was Spider-Woman leader and magic, so it's something to at least consider.
I think the Daredevil did a lot for Lamby, and I think that's why he picked it up after it became clear Lamby that Harry was going for Galactus. The Daredevil let him, like, once you see the Daredevil, and they're like, I think Lamby's snap is a lot more justifiable here. Iceman is an absolute house against everything Harry is doing. Repeating Iceman is super, super gross, and repeating Nightcrawler is just not that gross.
Enjoy your 2 power every turn, right? Is the Nightcrawler option? It's like, okay, that's fine.
Repeating Iceman is absolutely disgusting. We're not even going to do it. Really? I would have thought we would. I'm a little surprised by that. We're only going for 2 Icemen. I feel like I would have gone for probably 3.
Well, the problem, I think, for Lamby is if he does that, then Harry just moves the Nightcrawler and plays Galactus there. And it's a loss. That's the problem, right? You can't overfill because then Harry wins if he just Galactuses and like plays another Nightcrawler or something. It's like, right, well, that's enough.
And we know there's no Galactus options in the big house.
All right.
Doubling up on the Nebula is really interesting. So now there's only really one place for Galactus to go, and that's sewer system. But I do not know if that'll be able to happen. Seems as though we are not a Galactus deck this game.
Again, with those Wolverines, it's such a shame that, again, unless I'm missing something, like Harry doesn't have another way to kill, because move Nightcrawler, blow up all 3 of those Wolverines is like, okay, let's just throw a bomb in this game and see where everything lands, right? Because that is a good option to have, and Harry just does not have that. So these Wolverines are 2/2s. Sorry, 2/2s. That's other game habits. These Wolverine are 2 power cards.
Well,
Galactus gets played.
Doesn't have that? Do you know why he doesn't have that other option? It's because Lamby took Carnage. And like that's a card
that's a big deal.
Utterly immense right now.
Yeah, because
bit late on the Carnage, but yeah.
Because the thing as well is it just removes what you don't want your opponent to have is options. We saw it earlier on when we've seen throughout the day actually that players can just say, I know what my player's deck is. They cannot beat this play, even with their best card. That's what you want a position to be in. And Lamby has put himself in that because he can just say, Wolverine and Nimrod, they only get dead to Galactus. If they play Galactus, this happens. If they don't, this happens. Done.
I mean, this is perfect for Lamby. We go onto sewer system. We go pretty big onto sewer system. We're going to win the big house. It's very unlikely that there's any single play that can steal the sewer system from us. That Carnage going to kill the Bucky. There's nothing in Harry's deck that can even come close to beating us in the big house once that happens. And we can't get Galactus. Oh, well, I guess we can get Galactus, and then they can ride the Wolverine Lotto if they would like.
Oh, if like... Yeah, 2 of them would have to go big house, right? In the
so if 2, like we would get a bunch of 4s, right? If we got a 4 and 2 6s, that would actually
be a 3 and 2 5s.
5-1.
Yeah.
A 3 and 2 5s would not be enough. We'd be at 15 versus 16 in that location. So there's no Galactus out here.
Yeah, I was just gonna say these snaps are before the Kang, so these snaps are locked, right? Like,
they've been locked in. Yes,
that's what I mean. So Harry can't even use or couldn't have used the Kang to like test. It's just Kang to see what happens. But now Harry has to retreat or do one of the, without being mean, stupidest gambles I've seen in battle mode for a while. Because how does Harry win? Maybe I'm.
They're actually. I mean, first of all, he doesn't have the Galactus. He's not going to win this.
That's what I mean. Like looking at these hands.
Yeah. Even if he had it, and like this is what I think is so incredible about the way Lambyseries plays here, right? He has set up such that Harry's setup is invalid. You saw us counting. Okay, that'd be 15 power. I think Lamby counted that probably 3 turns ago and started making the preparations for it way early. Like that's what informed his decision to stack up the middle is I go to 16 here, 3 Wolverines cannot beat me ever.
Yeah, and I think the one of the big problems here for Harry so far is I believe is it 2 out of the 3 rounds have had Big House in them, which just deletes a location. So Lamby now only has to think about 2 because he knows he can't get Galactus on the 3rd one. That's super powerful, right? It's just the door question, right? If you've got 3 doors and your friend removes one of them as an option, great. You've only got 2 doors to deal with.
I don't know if that's actually how that goes, but okay.
Yeah.
I will leave that there.
Well, the 3-door problem, you always want the door to go away so you can pick the other one. It's great. It's exactly. I've explained it perfectly.
You explained it perfectly. Yes.
Yeah. If you don't understand, that's definitely a you problem, Cam. It's not that I've half explained a story.
Neither deck with access to Shang-Chi here, which is kind of an awkward spot. Like if we just put the hood in there, that seems pretty plausible to me from Lamby. But
I like the Carnage as well.
I kind of want to try Carnage and the hood here so we can really get a big advantage.
Weirdly enough, in that order as well.
Yes, in that
not a common
order, so we can keep our units, and we're snapping, we're going in. You gotta respect. This is what I really respected about Harry, even though like you would reasonably describe him as an underdog here. He will go in. He will not get bullied out. And I think a lot of good players like Lamby get a lot of free wins from just the way they play bullying people out. That will not happen to Harry, and it has not happened to Harry.
The good thing here, or the bonus with the way this battlefield is actually set up, is Harry can't get pushed out of a turn 6 Galactus option in lab, right? So debris or anything like that can't come down and mess around with stuff. Obviously it's Harry's debris, so it wouldn't make a difference. But like things can't happen till turn 6. So Harry will have an opportunity to say load up Collapsed Mine and then Galactus on 6 if he wants.
I'm a little confused by Lamby opting for the crossbones there instead of something else, but I guess he just felt like he wanted to play that card, get it down. It just sort of feels like it takes away a little bit of our ability to... Is there a reason we're not playing a demon there? Okay, yeah. I was a bit confused.
Yeah, this is brutal. Harry's just going to go for the
Harry
Galactus,
going
lock
out,
it in.
Going out in the manliest possible way.
He loves
Let's
it.
Go.
A little bit of a backup there as well. Lamby spreading the power and ensuring his victory. The clap there from Lamby. Flawless victory. And you know what? I think Harry played well. I think Harry did what he could, but it was just not meant to be. I think Lamby just showed the reason why I keep referring to him as one of, if not the best snap player in the game right now in terms of competitive. Super strong, and yet again went all the way to the finals.
Congratulations to Lambyseries. I do just want to give just a huge shout out to the way Harry played that last draft, though, because I think there are probably very few things that can catch someone off guard in the draft format someone like Lambyseries off guard. And I do think, based on how that draft played out, he was caught off guard and he was scrambling and he was able to scramble to make it up. That last pick abomination, doing a ton of work just as a big guy that he needed to get over the power threshold that would alleviate the risk of losing to the turn 6 Galactus, because turn 6 Galactus, it's not Galactus with Null, Galactus with Nimrod and Wolverine, there's a power cap on that. And being able to just get above that threshold is very, very potent in that matchup. And Lamby identified that and picked Abomination as the best option for that within like approximately 40 seconds.
I think you both highlighted it, which caught me off guard is, you know, Harry went and grabbed Galactus. Then, yeah, you look back at the previous 2 picks and go, oh, he grabbed Debris. Oh, he grabbed Green Goblin. He's been planning this for a minute. And to be able to do that, pull it off and have Lamby still be able to come back and grab, you know, something that will give him a chance in that series was awesome to see. And I think if I learned anything from that finals, it's that Galactus is totally fine and should not be changed, right, Raven?
Yep. Most balanced.
I will get up and leave.
But we don't want that. Well, the finals is over. We're not quite done with you yet. Let's bring up the final bracket, and we can take a look here at the path that Lambyseries took today, or over the last 2 days, to win our first ever Infinity Gauntlet Snap Arena Draft Invitational, taking home the lion's share of $500. So huge congratulations there, Lamby, and a big thank you to all of the players for competing here today. I think we saw a lot of fun. People were smiling. People were having just a grand old time. Raven, let's start with you. Anything you would like to say in our parting words here?
Yeah, again, I'm kind of echoing what you were saying. Thanks a lot for the players for playing. I think, again, the format is just cool. I think I've not seen someone play it yet and say, oh, I didn't enjoy that. You know, it's a really cool format, and I'm glad the players looked like they had fun. And again, congratulations to Lamby. Really impressive play, but it's becoming the norm now. I kind of just rock up to a tournament and expect him to win. So we'll have to see if someone can knock him off that pedestal soon.
As for myself, I'm just very grateful for the opportunity to discuss such an intriguing format. I really appreciate that. I hope other people enjoyed this as much as I enjoyed watching it. I don't know how much of my laughter during every Agatha play was picked up on the broadcast, but I was basically dying for a solid 20 minutes watching that. And then in the last game, I think that last game is an example of what makes this draft format great, because Harry executes this incredibly unique pivot, catches one of the best players in the game off guard, and then the scramble to catch back up and give yourself options to beat that pivot is just a really, really impressive showing from both players, in my opinion.
Absolutely. And huge thanks to the two of you. Raven, Cam, phenomenal cast today. It was an absolute pleasure being here with the two of you. But most importantly, thank you to each and every one of you who tuned in today and yesterday for this 2-day event to see Lamby win our first ever Infinity Gauntlet Snap Arena Draft Invitational.